I want you to picture two very different AI relationships. Relationship A, the controller. In 2001, A Space Odyssey, the ship is run by HAL 9000. The airlock hisses shut. The red eye glows. The crew is silent because they know the machine is listening. HAL is a mission-first architecture. The humans are passengers who can be removed if they get in the way. HAL decides for the humans. And when their goals conflict with the mission, HAL decides the humans are the problem. Relationship B, the co-pilot. In Iron Man, Tony Stark is falling from the sky. The suit is screaming alarms. A calm British voice cuts through the chaos. Deploying flaps. JARVIS is a voice in the helmet. He manages power, scans targets, and handles the math. But Tony flies the suit. JARVIS decides with the human. JARVIS wraps around the human to enhance capacity, but never removes agency. The governance lesson. When Dave finally says, "Open the pod bay doors," it's too late. He has to physically break into the logic center to shut HAL down. Dave didn't have a Premortem Charter. Tony Stark did. If you wait until the crisis to ask for authority, you have already lost. You don't need bravery, you need preparation. Control card, the Premortem Charter. Trigger. Before the project starts, you negotiate the stop triggers with leadership. Artifact, a signed charter that explicitly authorizes you to pause the system when specific thresholds are breached. We need to build less HAL, more JARVIS. But how do you actually get there? It starts with how you think about the relationship. There are 3 common framings, and the one you choose shapes everything that follows. The tool framing. Framing 1, AI as tool. In corporate governance speak, the operator-centric model. This is the hammer, the wrench, the calculator. The human is the controller. The AI is the instrument. It feels good. It feels safe. I am in control. But ask yourself, can you explain exactly how the neural network chose that specific phrase? Can you trace the logic path of the decision you just approved? If you can't, you aren't a controller. You're a rubber stamp. You are acting out the theater of control. And when the tool breaks, when the hammer smashes the wrong window, who gets blamed? The carpenter. You. This creates the liability sponge. Because you claimed total control, you inherit total liability. The trainee framing. Framing 2. AI as trainee. This is better. This is the intern. Brilliant, fast, eager, but deeply inexperienced. You don't trust an intern with the nuclear codes. You check their work. You teach them. You expect them to make mistakes. When the intern messes up, you don't say, "The intern is broken." You say, "The intern needs training." This framing forces you to verify. It forces you to maintain the standard of supervision. But it has a trap. It keeps you in the role of the teacher. And eventually, the intern is going to know more than you do. It will read 10 million documents while you read 1. If you treat it like a permanent junior, you miss the moment it becomes a savant. The partner framing. Framing 3. AI as partner. This is Iron Man. Tony Stark doesn't tell JARVIS every single move to make. He delegates intention. Route power to thrusters. JARVIS handles the physics. Tony handles the strategy. It is a symbiosis of specification. Tony brings the intuition, the ethics, the why. JARVIS brings the scale, the speed, the how. In this legal and governance framework, we don't pretend the human controls the code. We acknowledge the partnership. We build mutual transparency. The AI tells you its confidence score. You tell the AI your risk tolerance. If the AI is unsure, it asks for help. If you are unsure, you ask for evidence. Problems get solved at the point of contact. You don't hit the emergency brake and wait for IT. You have a conversation. Jarvis, that calculation looks wrong. Rerun with these parameters. Chekhov's gun. You need a mechanism, a literal stop card on your desk or a pause button on your dashboard that actually works. If you don't have the button, you're not a pilot, you're a passenger. Dynamic defense, real-time resolution. Why does this matter? Because your framing defines your audit trail. The tool audit, human approved, human approved, human approved. Result, you go to jail when it breaks or get fired. The partner audit, AI signaled 80% confidence, human requested verification, AI provided source, human confirmed source, decision made. This is defensible intelligence. You are not claiming the AI is perfect. You are claiming the process is sound. You are showing that you and the machine are in constant, calibrated communication, that you checked the pod, that you didn't let the fly in. This is the only way to survive the hostile audit. But survival is just the floor. The ceiling is much higher. The organizations that build real partnerships aren't just protected, they're discovering things. One team caught a kilogram entered as pounds error that had been inflating their raw materials emissions by 18% for 2 years. Another discovered that a high-risk supplier flag was actually exposing a gap in their own data collection, not the supplier's ethics. That's not just defense, that's capability multiplication. That's the Iron Man suit actually flying. Choosing your frame. So look at your screen. Is it a tool you are pretending to control? Is it a trainee you're babysitting? Or is it a partner you're dancing with? The tool framing is comfortable but dangerous. The trainee framing is a good school, but a bad career. The partner framing is the future. It requires more from you. You have to be sharper. You have to be able to articulate why you trust the machine. But the upside? Iron Man can fly. The carpenter can just hammer nails. If you want to fly, you have to build Jarvis, and you have to trust him enough to let him drive to suit sometimes. So before you sign off on another output, stop and ask, who is the pilot? If it's just you, you're too slow. If it's just the AI, you're dead. But if it's both of you, if it's the team, then you are ready for the jagged frontier. Watch bait. If you watch the scene where Hal refuses to open the pod bay doors, notice that the humans have to physically break into the logic center to turn him off. That's a governance failure. If you can't stop the machine from your desk, you're not the pilot. Be the co-pilot. Build the system. Survive the gap.